welcome to the second episode of Busy Bees and Brews. This is DJ Hillary Johnson with the Chief Operating Officer of VR Solutions, Sophie. How are you, Sophie?
I'm doing great, Hillary. And how about you?
Well, are you bringing today? I'm great. I'm great.
Yeah. Well, we're here today at Good Grind here in Baga City, and I'm actually just having a mix of Arabica coffee. I like my coffee black. So how about you?
It's the same as yours. Well, I think we like our coffee this way.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers for today. Yeah, for this episode. This time we're talking about something that a lot of leaders actually experience but don't always talk about, Yipeni, and that's hiring help, delegating work, but still feeling overwhelmed and right. So, why does delegation still feel so hard for many business owners nowadays?
That's a very good question, Hillary, because I did experience the same. I didn't have the same experience when we were starting out VR Solutions. Um, I've always worked by myself. I wore all the hats when we started out VR Solutions, and I think why it's very challenging for many business owners to delegate is because they have that mindset that I can still do this all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially for solopreneurs. So they become a jack of all trades. And yeah, they think that they can still do it. And of course, because they built the business from the ground up. The business is their baby. So, just like a parent who's going back to work, right? It's very challenging to them to just leave their child with a nanny or maybe to a babysitter without, thinking that, okay, I have to trust this person. Then this person will know how to take care of my baby. Yeah.
So that point is until such time it reached that okay, um, this is the threshold of what I can do,
Yeah.
what I can control, right? And so that time they need a VA already.
Correct.
We'll see. So what does fake delegation actually look like in a real business scenario?
Yeah. So I like the word that we use, like feign delegation, because some people think that if they just, oh, I give you a task list, or they give their VAs a task list, they think that that's a delegation. Actually, that's fake delegation, because real delegation is you don't just give a task list to your VA, you actually collaborate with your VA and give them the opportunity to see what does your business look like in the next few months. Like creating a goal with your VA of what your business looks like in the next few months. Yeah.
So technically tasks are delegated.
Yes. So tasks can still be delegated, but uh, it should not stop there. The business owner should be open-minded. Again, I want to use the word trust, because if they start trusting their VA, then they can delegate more to their VA.
Okay. And that takes a short time, a long time, depending on the relationship of the VA and the client.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that it depends on the client that we're working with, and I want to reiterate the open-mindedness of the client. If they are open-minded, I think that they're like the trust that they give to their VA, it's going to be a short period of time for them to achieve that. But if they are a little bit challenged with being open-minded and thinking like, okay, I have to trust this person, it may take a year or even two.
Or I need to trust this person.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at first it feels like that, but
Yes.
as they go along their way, it must feel like I trust this person.
Yes. Yes.
I trust this person.
Yeah.
And I think that's why some leaders feel guilty saying delegation isn't helping.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah.
All right. And so, well, what are early signs that support is not really reducing the leader's workload?
I think that, the signs would be if the leader often says like, why am I still doing everything? Right? And then they keep on asking for updates from their, okay, that's
Why would they do that? And number is why would they do that? Why would
okay,
they keep asking? Oh, yeah, I keep doing this myself.
right? Yeah, because in the first place, did they really trust that the VA will do the work for them, right? But then again, at the end of the day, no, they haven't really let no. Yes, letting go. I think is the key word there. Like, have they really let go of the task? So I would give an example. Early on, what I loved about when we were still building We Are Solutions, I love doing the social media part for our business because it was just me, right? Maybe me and two or three of our team members. I love doing the social media. And then at one point, when we hired our social media manager, I still felt that I was burnt out because I didn't trust her enough that okay, she can actually do the job. So if 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 I still have that mindset, I feel like I still feel burnt out.
So how did you let go of that task? How do you delegate, in short?
So I gave her the what do you call this? What is our goal for the month? So giving her that goal gave her the perspective of okay, this is what we want to see for our social media content. And then, then it became easy for us to work together. It was easier for me to feel like, okay, I don't need to do the work all by myself.
Mhm. So if everything depends on the leader, then that's not really delegation.
Exactly.
It's letting go. And finally, when you have let go of some of the tasks, probably not everything,
Yeah.
then the load feels lighter and there is this eventual success.
Yes. Okay. Because maybe I should add a little bit more there, Hillary. What what we have to let go of as years are the non-revenue generating tasks, right? So if these tasks are, let's just say creating social media content, answering emails, managing our calendar, that does not generate revenue. Generating revenue would be like at this point in time, my role now has evolved to more of business development that breaks in the pints. So we have to think of what really are the tasks that we can let go, that does not really require revenue generation, and then we can focus on the revenue generation part.
Yeah, that's right. Revenue generation is the topmost priority.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. So what changes when support is properly managed then? Well, of course,
Yeah.
we've just mentioned, yeah, revenue generating tangible things.
Exactly, right? So that is one thing. And when support is properly managed, of course you don't feel burned out as well. You don't need to, keep on checking in on your VA like, hey, did you finish this? Did you do this? Right? So at the end of the week, the only thing that the leader is expecting is the output, right? And at least when the BA and the leader has agreed that okay, this is our goal for the week, then both of them actually don't feel stressed out, right?
Yeah, but if the revenue goes up, there would be core tasks.
And that is correct. You're correct there. But then because the leader and their VA has already established their systems, then it doesn't, feel like both of them would be overworked, right? So there's a system in place. It just, it's like a cog in the wheel that functions properly.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so they reached the point wherein they've met an organization, a system,
Exactly.
wherein it's a good foundation for their relationship.
Yes.
So they can generate more
Revenue. And then, that makes either the leader could add more hours to the ME he or she is working with, or they could hire another person to join their team. So yeah.
Can you share to us the worst delegation and the best delegation, the success story delegation that they've ever had?
Okay.
Any of your solutions?
I wouldn't say the worst, but I think that that particular client that we have, she's still learning how to delegate more efficiently. So even if, for example, we give her pointers on how to do that, um, I think that it's more of really having an open mind. So I think that because she has built for business in the last 20 years, doing it all by herself, she's still having challenges of trusting her VA that her VA will be able to do the things that she wants to do to let her business grow or at least have a continuity. That I would think would be the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is, and I've always told this to, potential clients who would want to work with us. So we have this client in Buffalo, and she actually runs summer camps. Um, when she first joined us, she I told her our minimum hours for our VA, and our minimum hours would be like 40 hours a month. And she tells in the case, okay, I don't think I have 40 hours to delegate to my VA. And I told her, like, maybe you should just, try it out, work with the VA and see where that goes. And then 2 weeks later, she gets back to me and says, like, Sophie, I'm gonna hire the VA full time. So from 40 hours a month, it became 160 hours a month. And then 2 months after that, she gets back to me and says that she needs another VA. So that's the best case scenario. And that what you've always wanted is that, having that trust with the VA that they know what they're doing. Because I always tell our prospects the reason why we're assigning these VAs to you is because we know their capability. We know that they will support you, and you can do more working with them. And last summer, that particular client was able to run 150 summer camps throughout her 4 locations. And I think she was, if I'm not mistaken, she was able to go on a vacation. So that's what we want for our clients as well, that they're able to go on vacation and that they end up working on their business, right? So yeah, that's a success story of delegating exactly correctly and trusting fully. Yeah, yeah. And so with that, what are we talking about on our next topic? Yeah, so for our next episode, guys, we will be having some of our VAs, and they will be talking about how they feel about working with some of our clients and what they hope for when it comes to delegation. That'll be pretty exciting, and some of your staff will be joining us that time. It's been another episode talking about leadership, delegation, and building businesses that scale sustainability. If today's conversation resonated with you, be sure to follow the podcast and join us next episode as we dive deeper into the difference between assigned work and truly managed support. Until next time, grab your coffee and join us. I'm DJ Hillary Johnson. And this is Sophie. See you on the next episode of Busy Bees and Brews.
Hi, it's me, Sophie. I'm the co founder and managing partner of We Are Solutions, and I'm here today to answer some questions about our podcast, Busy Bees and Brews. So, I have here a few questions that I'll be answering about our podcast. So, the first one is, why did We Are create Busy Bees and Brews? The real reason behind it is that my team has always pushed me to create a platform, a podcast where we could put our company out there, especially because they do believe that we have some knowledge to share to business owners, whether they be solopreneurs, small business owners, or medium sized enterprises. And they're already contemplating on taking on a virtual assistant. So, next question is, what is the purpose of the podcast? So, as I mentioned earlier, the podcast is created for solopreneurs, SMEs who are contemplating on taking on virtual assistants, whether it be on freelance platforms or taking on a virtual assistant through virtual assistant agencies like We Are Solutions. And we hope to help them make an educated decision when they want to start using a virtual assistant. Who is Busy Bees and Brews created for? The podcast is for solopreneurs and small and medium enterprises who are really ready to take the next step, in hiring a virtual assistant. Some of these solopreneurs and SMEs are having second thoughts of taking on a person in house and taking on a virtual assistant would be helpful for them to, it's like hiring their employee number one and learning how to delegate efficiently. So the next question is, what kind of conversations will the podcast focus on? So the podcast would be educational tips for solopreneurs and SMEs on how they can delegate effectively. I think that that is a big challenge for business owners, especially when it's their first time working with virtual assistants. And also, even if they've already worked with a virtual assistant before, there may have been some challenges along the way. And we hope that Busy Bees and Brews would be a good platform for them to, have a better understanding of how they can work better with the virtual assistant or virtual assistants that they currently have with their team. And the last one is, what do you hope listeners to take away from each episode? We hope that they actually get some tips and tricks on how to work better with virtual assistants. And if they are contemplating to work with virtual assistants, we hope that when they take on their first virtual assistant, whatever tips and tricks we've shared with them, it's going to be useful and helpful on how they can take on that journey with their virtual assistant. Again, this is Sophie from We Are Solutions. Thank you for listening to Busy Bees and Brews. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook for more tips on delegation, virtual assistants, and business growth. Keep building smarter and growing with confidence.